Welcome to the Maxwell Leadership Executive Podcast, where our goal is to help you increase your reputation as a leader, increase your ability to influence others, and increase your ability to fully engage your team to deliver remarkable results. Hi, I'm Perry Holley, a Maxwell Leadership facilitator and coach.
And I'm Chris Goede, Executive Vice President with Maxwell Leadership. Welcome and thank you for joining. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about, are we delivering the wow? The wow. From our customer's perspective. And we can look at that a couple of different ways. We're going to dig into this. And I'm super excited because we challenge all of you, listeners and those that are watching, to take the content, learn it, then teach it or facilitate it with your team. And so Perry and I had the opportunity a couple of weeks ago, to be a part of a group of leaders that John put together. And we just got to sit and learn leadership.
Yes.
And so we were talking about, hey, what are we going to do with this content? And I was like, I don't know, but within already 2 days, I've already used like 2 pages of content just talking to my team and this and that. And so I said, let's share what we're learning with the team. Let's model what we're asking you to do. And so the next couple of podcasts, Perry put together some incredible lessons about some simple principles that we learned that
we're learning
that were wow to us, right? Like he's delivering the wow. So that's what we're going to dig into today. Before we get started, I want to always encourage you to go to maxwellleadership.com/podcast. Click on this podcast, and there you can submit a form to learn a little bit more about what we do inside organizations. So, Perry, I hope I didn't steal your thunder there, but I just kind of riffed on that and the impact that we had. And we want to model what we asked you to do, but more importantly, we just want to share what we learned because it's amazing. And
there were so many, as you mentioned, we were off mic, we were talking about how many lessons there were. And I thought one that I didn't take full appreciation of at the moment, but being with John in a small group and watching him sit down and be a student.
Yes.
He was with us in the audience, and then he would always speak between, but I just watching the guy that you look up to, thinking that he's still growing, he's still learning. And so we got so much great stuff. We'll share this with you. But the idea about this was, are you delivering wow? And kind of let's define wow. What does that look like? When we do this, we can use other examples, or we can use Maxwell Leadership, whatever you like. But I was thinking, in our world and in our listeners' world, you've got to define what is wow like for your client. What do your customer? What is wow? What do you think?
What does that look like? So what gets your customer excited? Now, as Perry said, it can be whatever industry you're in or whatever you're doing. I also want to let you know that there's 2 ways to look at this as we go through this, because I kind of stumbled on this when I took my team through this activity, which I'll share with you guys as we make our way through our lesson today. But it can also be not only with your customer or clients, but it can also be with your team members and their roles. And how are you leading them? How are you influencing them? But where we were, it was simply, what's the user experience? What is engaging and energizing your consumer, your client, whatever it might be, to want to be a part of what you're doing? And you should know that. And you should be very aware of what that is. And if you're not, we're going to talk about that as well. You got to figure that out. And so, man, what energizes them, what engages them, what keeps them coming back? And that's kind of that wow thing about your business.
One person said, what makes you different from your competition? Is it what makes you different from the marketplace? And the speaker had a great answer for this. He said, no, different can be copied. What you want is distinctive.
Love that.
Are you different, or are you distinctive from your competition and from in the marketplace? What do you?
Well, this goes back to, we talk about at Maxwell Leadership. We talk about, how do you get out of the people pile, right? John's like, how do you separate yourself out of the company pile that's out there? Let me share a story with you. I haven't even told you this, but this just came to mind, and I'm just going to share it. So recently, we have the privilege and the opportunity of hosting here in our home offices in Gwinnett County a pro-am in front of a senior tour, Champions Tour event. And so we have the privilege to do that.
Golf event. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, golf event. And so we have the privilege of doing that. So one of our incredible team members that was happened to be playing in this pro-am as fun, got paired with a pro. And so when you do this as a golfer, you're an amateur golfer, first of all, and then the pros that are playing that weekend, that to practice the course and to put up with a different pace of play and also a lot of amateur golf swings, they will play, with that pro and with the amateurs. So in this group, We had one of our guests that was with them, and they happened to have the opportunity to be playing with Colin Montgomery. Okay. And so for those of you that don't follow golf, he's an international, very well-known leader, very successful golf, a lot of just the top, and very prideful of his home country and where he's from. And so we get up to the very first tee box, and Colin's very, very engaging, and he asked the gentleman, well, where are you from? And he said, I'm from Tennessee. And he says, I was going to wear my University of Tennessee socks today. I'm like, where is this going? Right. Cause I'm kind of sitting over on the side. I'm just part of organizing this, put together. And he slowly pulls up his pants and down by his ankles. And so that Colin can see his socks. And he goes, but I decided to wear a different pair of socks today. And it had Great Britain flags all over his socks on behalf of Colin from where he's from, Montgomery. And he was like, that is amazing. And so they were only together for less than 3 minutes right there. And they had already created a connection, the energy, the engagement of the team, because this individual had intentionally thought about creating a wow moment. So this is a personal example.
That's really good.
But man, like, what is that you're doing for your clients in creating this wow? So Perry, I completely derailed us there, but I just had this thought happen just recently. I was like, I got to share it. That's what comes to mind. That was a wow moment.
That's really
get
good.
out of the people pile.
But it's distinctive.
So back to your point, right? Different simply means it's not the same or unlike. While distinctive implies there's a noticeable, unique quality about what you do that's different than the rest of them. And into my example, this individual right there on the first tee, as soon as he met Colin, was distinctively different than the others that were in the group.
That's so funny. I think I know who you're talking about.
Yes, you do.
All right. So wow can be found in the distinctive, I believe is worth saying.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
If you're trying to be distinctive from and I really hear him saying that different is somebody can copy that and just one up you.
Yep.
Distinctive is something that you may have a unique ability to do. So I was thinking about if you would run a real estate business, and some wows that I might see in your real estate business would be your highly professional, experienced agents. So, but other people can have that as well. You have unique financing programs. You bundle some of the moving services and things like that. Is this the kind of wow where?
Yeah, I think this is
the start of wow.
Start of wow, right? To your point, I think the distinctive word is really key for us to understand here, because while other people may be able to replicate that, it'll take a lot of work and a lot of effort versus just being different. You could do that, but you think about it, like, how do people see your product? How do people see your service? As Perry was talking about the real estate, right? The examples there. Is it the speed of service? Is it the level of concierge? You're doing some things differently that are not just different, they're distinctive than any other person that is in your space. I know a very, very good friend of John's in the mortgage business a long time ago decided he was going to take the normal mortgage process, talking about real estate, maybe it was 21 days to get approved, to get underwritten, and he promised everybody he's going to do it in 7 days. And it immediately made him distinct versus all of his competitors, and his business grew through the roof.
Hey, podcast listeners. Many of you listening right now would probably love the autonomy that comes with owning your own business or becoming a coach that helps other businesses succeed. Well, we have a phenomenal strategy where you are 100% in control of your own business, earning income on your own terms, and have access to the people, tools, and resources you need to build a thriving leadership development business. When you become a Maxwell Leadership Certified team member, you join a global community of entrepreneurs led by our expert team of mentors and faculty, including John C. Maxwell. You'll also get one of the top leadership certifications in the world next to your name, giving you the boost you need to get started. Visit us online at maxwellleadership.com/join the team to find out more.
Now, there's also the other side of this wow thing that we learned, which we both agree we're not sure. We don't think we know it's not a word, but it is a word to us now because it had a huge impact on us, right? And this was, he said, now you got to ask the same question, which is the more important question for you and your team, which is, what are the unwows.
Unwows.
Unwows. Yeah. And I don't know if we have them in the show notes for you. If you were to download that, I'm not sure how Perry spelled it, but if it's wrong, it's Perry's fault. But the unwows. And he said, you should immediately be able to list 10 unwows, like you as a leader and your business and how you should be. And if you don't, that's a problem. But also you and your team should go through that process of saying, what are the 3 to 7 unwows about our product, our business, that our customers feel that we've never taken time to even articulate?
And he's telling stories, but he said most people, when you say, what are the wows of your business, they just start clicking them off.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You say, what are your unwows? Can I get back to you on that? That you don't know? You said, no, you need to be able, like you said, he used the word 10. You should be able to identify all the unwows you can find about your business. And he said that this is the only way we can grow and improve. And one thing I really liked about the concept of this looking for your unwows is that it requires you to look at the business from the customer's point of view. So I've heard several people say that they go, one of the Chick-fil-A operators goes into the Chick-fil-A not as an operator. He comes in and orders a meal and he looks to see how are things operating? Was he made to feel? Who had paid attention to him? How easy was it? How hard did we make it to do that? And so the questions you're kind of asking yourself as you do the unwow search is, what it's like to do business with you. How difficult is it to do business with you? The leader, I think one thing he talked about, are you the only one on the team looking for the unwows? What do you think about that? How do you get the team so attuned to the customer's point of view?
This is a culture thing, right? This is led by the leader. And so what we have to understand here is that it's okay that even if your name is on something that's an unwow, we're going to talk about it. We're going to change it, right? Like we're going to go after it. And it's a culture statement of what the expectations are of how we're going to do things here. And it's not a negative thing. It's like, how do we continue to take the unwows and make them wows? And the only way to do that is everything's on the table, whatever it might be. And so you have to, I think we also talked about in and around this, the continuous improvement. You have to be challenging yourself. And he used the example. He said, I was standing up in my office one day and they're on a campus and he looked down and he saw a student kind of walking in between 2 sidewalks that led to the point, but they were walking right down the middle of the grass. Yeah. And he thought, wow, that needs to be improved. That customer of mine, that student wants to walk right there. So that evening he had a crew go put pavers right down, and then the next day they're walking down the pavers. And so he may have been the one that designed where the sidewalks went. And so he was leading from the front saying, this is part of what we're going to do. We're going to continuously improve everything that we're doing so that our customer has wow experiences.
It's at a golf course, and they had you have to follow the cart path around from here to get to there. But the golfers had figured out, if you just drive across right here, but it had this huge rut that was being made. But instead of, hey, why don't we pave that the easiest way? They put boulders up to keep you from doing it. Yeah. We'll see how hard we can make it for you to get to the next hole.
And then we end up damaging their golf carts and all kinds of stuff.
So go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. We have told many, many times, we've told you guys, culture is how do you think, act, and interact. This is part of that. This is, what are our wows? Okay, that's awesome. But what are the unwows of what that looks like? And so we want to, there's also a statement that I think goes along with this and the continuous improvement, which was, hey, let's make sure that we're being actionist versus activist. Right? Let's not say, oh, we should have put a sidewalk right there. Like take action like you did, like right away. It's like we're gonna figure out how do we get to the wow and what that looks like. Okay, so what do you do with this information that Perry put together for us? Well, as a team, I would encourage you to sit down and I would send the question out ahead of time, okay? And at your next team meeting, say, bring me your list of unwows. And the first meeting, have it customer facing. Like what is your perception? Wouldn't it be interesting though if we asked our customers to tell us what the unwow experience was? Like,
how brave are you?
Right, how brave are you? That would get us the real truth to get to the point where we knew we had wow experiences. And then spend time figuring out what is that list and how do we begin solving that? How do we begin taking action right away, ranking them, putting them in priority, and just start knocking them off the list and assigning them? Hey, Perry, you go figure this out. We got to fix this. Chris, go figure this out. What does that look like? And be able to do that. And remember, I told you then the next step would be, okay, then come back a week later and build a list of, if they're willing to share it with you, what is an unwow of what it looks like to be on the other side of your leadership or on that team or in that organization, whatever it might be. When I did this with my team, I didn't give them exact parameters on which side to go, customer or personal. And so I got a blend of both. And I was talking to my executive partner the other day, and we were talking about, okay, what's the next steps coming out of our quarterly meeting where you did this exercise? And I said, oh, it's simple. You and I are going to make sure that we take action on everything that we heard. That was an unwow. And we can't just have a conversation about it and then not do anything about it. That's an
unwow itself.
That's an unwow itself. And that's also attributing to a culture that we're not trying to create here on our team. So anyways, just some additional thoughts, but man, take what we're talking about. Some we learn, which we're super excited about it. We wanted to share it with you. Yeah. And then now we want you to take it and share it with your team.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for that great insight. And if you'd like to get the learner guide for this, you can do all that as well as see our offerings. The other offerings in our podcast families are also listed there. We have several. You can also leave us a question or a comment, all that at maxwellleadership.com/podcast. We love hearing from you and very grateful you'd spend this time with us. That's all today from the Maxwell Leadership Executive Podcast.